Glad to be chatting with you folks here today, and thank you very much for taking the time here today. This is a pretty exciting day for us. We unveiled what, as Tom mentioned, Future Cloud about a month back to the world in terms of how Cisco is truly working with our customers and partners to help accelerate our customers' journey to the cloud, no matter what the journey looks like and no matter where they are in the journey. I'm particularly very excited to set the stage for the next 2.5 hours or so in terms of what you're going to see as a preview from our hybrid cloud operations, from our observability and cloud neutral automation innovations. So it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to this. So just to set the stage in terms of where we are from a cloud strategy perspective. So over a year and a half back, we unveiled our 5-pronged multi-cloud enabler strategy. And these were truly focused on, as the world is moving towards a hybrid multi-cloud, a very app-centric world, what are some of the key areas where our customers are asking us to help them out and accelerate their journey? And it really boils down to these 5 areas, right? So one is, as the world moves back to office, the world is going to be hybrid. So how can we use cloud technologies to help deliver the future of work, whether it's secure remote workers, whether it's trusted workplace environments, and the best collaboration technology from the cloud, right? So that's all around the continuity, the business continuity. The second one is, as the world becomes more and more distributed from a user side and the application side, a lot of IT organizations in the ops world are looking for deeper and more granular visibility from the user to the cloud, from the infrastructure to the application. And that is all around providing that deep insights and corrective actions, if you will. The third is the threat surface of every organization in the distributed world has rapidly increased, and every CISO and CIO are looking for providing a security posture that is highly simplified, and it's a zero trust architecture, right? And a lot of you folks have heard about this. So how can we use, again, cloud native technology to deliver security? And a lot of this is now focused on SASE, for example, right? So the world of networking and security coming together and delivered as cloud service. And the fourth area, which, as you very well know, Cisco plays a very, very key role, is as the world becomes hybrid and multi-cloud, how do you securely connect your existing environment to a multi-cloud environment and consume all of those resources? And finally, the last part, which is extremely important for every IT and ops organization, is no matter where my workloads are in application, I want a very consistent operating model and a cloud-like operating model, even if all my resources are on-prem or in the data center, or it's hybrid or public cloud. So how do I operate in a very consistent cloud operating model? So those are the 5 enablers, and we've truly focused for this launch on the 3 that we have highlighted here, right? So in terms of what Cisco is doing to providing that observability end-to-end, what are we doing to help you securely connect your multi-cloud organization? And frankly, the biggest part is around the cloud operating model. So I'm going to set the stage in terms of why this is needed before you see our awesome technical speakers go deeper dive into each area of these innovation. So to set the stage, as I mentioned, the lifeblood of every organization right now is the application and the application experience for their employees, for their end consumers, for their partners, etc. So that's truly the new business currency, if you will. But as any of you who's ever created an application or provisioned infrastructure for an application very clearly understand, application experience, a lot of teams are heavily involved or contribute to delivering this application experience. From the app operators to DevOps who can provision, to infrastructure operators who can provide the infrastructure, to things like NetOps and SecOps, right? So there's a whole lot of ops tools and processes and teams set up to work together to deliver this. But it's easy for me to put this on a slide, but it's extremely hard for all these teams to work together and deliver this application, especially when the type of application, the way the applications are created, consumed, and delivered, and the pace in which you can do code drops every week or every other week is very, very different. So how do these islands of technology and operations come together to deliver that single consistent application experience is what we are trying to help with our future cloud event. And for that, the teams truly need this observability that you hear a lot in the apps op and DevOps world, right? Like, how do I get complete granular visibility from the users where they're accessing the application to the cloud, no matter where the cloud is and what the cloud for you means, across this entire landscape, right? And two, how do we get that from the infrastructure to the application? So as most of you know, we were very excited to bring Thousand Eyes as part of the Cisco family, and Thousand Eyes truly provides that user to cloud visibility, right? Like, it's the Google Maps for the internet, if you will. And now, as we have started to bring Thousand Eyes into the Cisco infrastructure, you are going to see a more granular visibility in terms of Thousand Eyes now extending into the campus, into the data center, and into the underlay of SD-WAN. So that's one of the key innovations. The second area is, as we provide observability and visibility, it's extremely important to also automate the provisioning of infrastructure to your VMs, to your containers, to serverless architecture, all the way to your application workflow, right? So how can you provide that and do it more importantly in a cloud neutral manner? Because some of you are completely in AWS or Azure or GCP, some of you are a hybrid cloud, some of you are completely on-prem. So no matter what, goes back to that cloud neutral cloud operating model that is needed. So these are the two areas that we have really focused on so that you can bring these two, the cloud neutral automation and that extended observability together and provide that real-time user experience and the business outcomes that every organization is looking for. So, and you'll hear over the next 2 hours, what are we doing to build that cloud neutral automation with things like Intersight? What are we doing to extend observability with Thousand Eyes, Intersight, and App Dynamics working together to deliver that infrastructure to application and user to cloud observability? So before I hand it off to Angelique, I wanted to kind of set the stage on what you're going to hear us talk in a lot more detail over the next couple of hours, right? Number one, a deep dive on all things observability with particular emphasis on Thousand Eyes, right? As I mentioned, I've been at Cisco for over 21 years, and Thousand Eyes is one of the acquisitions that we have really accelerated the integration into our core infrastructure. And we truly are excited to what Thousand Eyes can bring to our customers in terms of that deep visibility and taking out those blind spots. So what we have done a few months back, we integrated Thousand Eyes into our Catalyst 9K switching infrastructure. And with this future cloud announcement that we did a month back, we are now integrating the Thousand Eyes agent into our SD-WAN infrastructure as well as our Nexus data center networking. So in a way, we are making Thousand Eyes million eyes, right? Like, because of the huge depth of that install base that we have on our Catalyst, on our ISR, on our ASR, and our Nexus platform, having Thousand Eyes agent in each of these platforms provides that granular visibility, whether you want it for overlay internet or your underlay fabric, and provides that end-to-end user to cloud visibility that we're talking about. And you'll hear Angelique go a lot more deeper into how we are doing this. The second is our hybrid cloud operations platform and Intersight. Most of you who've followed Cisco and Intersight know that Intersight started off as an infrastructure management platform, right? But it was cloud native and SaaS from the very beginning. And since then, we have added 6 new services, and we have made Intersight expand not just from infrastructure management to now workload and cloud orchestration. So we've unveiled a whole host of new services, and 3 of which are highlighted here, right? One is the Intersight Cloud Orchestrator. It's a very low-code, very simplified UX design that helps you orchestrate your infrastructure and your workload, whether it's for your hybrid cloud or your data center. So that's one of the key things with curated tasks and workflows that makes it easy and simple for any IT operator to provision that. Second is the Intersight Workload Engine. So as the world becomes more and more cloud native, and you want to deploy workloads, whether it's K8s, whether it's bare metals, whether it's VMs in bare metals, you need to have a very consistent way of providing a hypervisor, clustering services, storage services, etc. So we've taken our HyperFlex offering and now manage it through Intersight. So this is what the Intersight Workload Engine is, and you'll hear a lot more detail there. And the last part is the Service Mesh Manager. So we acquired a company called Bonsai Cloud a few months back, and we've taken that, and that truly helps you provide your Istio service mesh deployments in a rapidly simple and intuitive manner. And we've integrated that as an extension of Intersight Kubernetes Services, or IKS. So this truly helps as the world gets more and more cloud-native applications, container-based service mesh. How do you define and visualize the connectivity between all these containers and clusters? How do you define the policy and security? And how do you even change that in a very scalable manner? And that's what Service Mesh Manager helps us do for a cloud-native application. And finally, the crown jewel of our infrastructure modernization strategy as we move to hybrid cloud is our UCS X series. The first generation, the UCS, was unveiled in 2009, so it's been that long. So we are very, very excited to now bring UCS X series to the market, and this is truly first of its kind, completely SaaS managed through Intersight and computing for the hybrid cloud era. And you'll hear Ravi and team talk a lot on some of the innovations that we've built to make the world of blade and rack servers kind of converge, where it depends on the workload that you want to deploy, and UCS X series helps you deploy that and manage it through our Intersight platform. The unique X Fabric technology that makes it highly composable and adaptable infrastructure for you, and all the innovations built in for this to be the compute platform for the next decade or more. And finally, infrastructure as a code is something that you're going to hear from Cisco more and more. We've been working on how do we break the silos between the DevOps and the InfraOps folks by giving those DevOps tools and the DevOps folks the same tools that they love and use for the public cloud, now for private cloud environments, right? And we have done that for DNA Center, for Nexus Dashboard, for Intersight, and now we are doing it for our identity services, our access control and policy management engine, ICE, with the 3.1 release, where you can now deploy ICE through an API and using an Ansible or very soon Terraform playbook on an AWS instance or an Azure instance in a very, very simple manner. So as you can see, whole host of innovation, and the key focus truly for us is to help provide that observability end-to-end, to provide that cloud-neutral automation as a way to manage your infrastructure, manage your workloads, and manage your multiple clouds. Break down the operational silos that exist between infrastructure, ops, NetOps, DevOps, app dev, etc. And finally, as the world moves to a cloud-native, application-centric world, infrastructure and infrastructure provisioning has to move at the pace of application development and deployment. So how do we make that happen, right? So those are the 3 big focus areas, and that helps extend our strategy of helping our customers connect, secure, automate in a cloud-first world. So